Reduce salt to lower blood pressure. Pretty much the fastest way for someone to drop blood pressure, especially if you got high blood pressure, is to consume a lesser amount of salt. Beneath we demonstrate you how. Salt increases your blood pressure. The more salt you swallow, the more elevated your blood pressure will become. How much salt is too much? An adult should have no more than 6 grams of salt a day, but nearly every one of us consume much more than this. For the most part of the salt we consume each day is hidden. Roughly 80% of the salt we consume is hiding within processed foods like bread, biscuits and breakfast cereals, and prepared ready meals or takeaways. Barely 20% comes from the salt we add while cooking or at the table. How to decrease down on salt to decrease blood pressure. To avoid the hidden salt and drop your salt intake, it is paramount to consume foods that are low in salt and cease using salt whilst cooking or at the table. By understanding the food label, you can distinguish if a food is low, medium or high in salt. Low, 0.3 g salt or fewer for each 100 g of food. Consume heaps of these. Medium, 0.3-1.5 grams salt for each 100 grams of food. Consume small amounts occasionally. High, 1.5 g salt or greater for each 100 g of food. Stay away from these completely. What sodium levels mean? Some labels may well not say how much salt the food contains, but they possibly will say how much sodium it contains. Sodium is one of the chemicals within salt, and 1 g of sodium is the same as 2.5 g of salt. So, low, 0.1 g sodium or fewer for each 100 g of food. Consume a load of these. Medium, 0.1-0.6 grams sodium for each 100 grams of food. Consume small amounts occasionally. High, 0.6 sodium or greater for each 100 g of food. Steer clear of these completely. If the label does not say how much salt or sodium the food contains, look on the ingredients listing. The closer to the top of the list salt appears, the further salt the food is likely to contain. 8 ways to have less salt and help your blood pressure. Don't add salt while cooking. This includes things like soy sauce, curry powders and stock cubes. Get even more flavor with herbs and spices, and from seasonings like chili, ginger, lemon or lime juice. Table sauces like ketchup, mustard and pickles can contain a bundle of salt. Check the label and decide on low salt options. Bread and breakfast cereals can contain a lot of salt. Check the labels to compare brands. Smoked meats and fish contain a lot of salt. Stay away from these if you can. If you are eating out, ask if your meal can be made with less salt. This may perhaps not be workable, but it is always worth asking. If you really feel like a salty favor, use a small amount of low-sodium salt substitute. If you have kidney problems or diabetes, check with your doctor or nurse first. Look out for low-salt recipes. There are a number of low-salt cookbooks available, or you can search for recipes on the internet. You shouldn't agonize too much about the exact amount of salt you consume, merely try to each time consume foods with the lowest salt level. 6 g of salt a day is the most you ought to consume, and the smaller amount you consume the better. It may possibly take a few weeks for your taste buds to adjust and you will begin to take pleasure in food with a reduction of salty,